Okay, so I've decided to make a little mini course to do with sigil magic. The reason is that I've got a couple of people that are doing sigil magic, various sigil magic workings at the moment, and I figured that I'd just take all of the questions that certain people are asking and make a little video series. So what I'm going to try and do is cover various different types of uses for sigil magic and different approaches, basically because it's not only good for you guys, but also the people which I'm talking about will probably be watching this video as well. So I need to make it applicable to them and also open enough that it makes sense for other people. So the first thing I want to talk about is sigils versus seals. So when it comes to seals, the sorts of things that you'll find in books like this, in grimoires, you're talking about some kind of shape that is designed to be the emblem or logo, I suppose, slash address for a particular spirit. So if you're looking at the Lesser Key of Solomon and I take spirit number 72 within that, 𝐒𝐤𝐿, you would be looking at something like this. Okay, so that would be a seal. That is designed to be used, although it's a shape. I've drawn an equivalent version. That's the one that you'll probably see in most books. That's my version. That is designed to be used to contact that spirit. Now, the problem is that people confuse sigils and seals. When you're talking about spirits and contacting spirits, then you're talking about seals, because they're almost like addresses, kind of like having a spirit's telephone number or, address. When it comes to sigils, sigils are, again, they can look like shapes. So if we've got 𝐒𝐤𝐿𝐼's seal, this is a sigil I've made. Okay, so you're still talking about shapes. However, the difference is that sigil magic is a shape that's entirely unique, that has been designed with either a purpose in mind or has been given a magical purpose. So just remember, between the two of those, seal is an address for a spirit, the sorts of things you'll find in books, grimoires particularly, and a sigil is one of those things that you create with a purpose. Now, one thing that I talk about when it comes to magical sigils, I always recommend creating your own. Do not rely on someone else making one for you, particularly if it's someone you don't know. The reason behind that is that they've been designed with a purpose in mind, and you don't know what the real purpose is. So if you see in a book that there is a sigil, for example, like this, to bring you money, and you might decide to start incorporating this money sigil that you found in a book in your magical workings, what may actually be the case, as I've seen before, is that this isn't actually designed to bring you money. This is designed to bring the person who created it money. So every time you're feeding energy, because remember, where attention goes, energy flows. Every time you're feeding that sigil energy, looking at it, working with it, that's feeding the energy to the person that created it. Can you create a sigil for multiple people to use? Yes, you can do that. What I'm saying is that you need to be careful of where you're getting the sigils that are already created from. Is it from a reliable source, for example? So if you're just copying it out of some random blog, website, or book, you don't really know what it's designed to do. Just because it's labelled that it's supposed to bring you money or love or whatever they say it's designed to do, doesn't mean that it's actually designed to do that. Now, there are situations I've found where people have copied sigils from various different places on the internet, and they've actually not been designed to do the things which the website says they're designed for. Now, whether this is one of those things that is done on purpose, or whether it's literally just a case of the person that created the blog didn't quite understand or took wrong information from somewhere, who knows. But ultimately it's something that I'd recommend. The fact that, you know, for what it's worth, you should probably make your own. Now, in terms of creating sigils, there's quite a lot of different ways of doing it, but essentially all you're wanting to do is create a simple and unique shape in whatever means that you want, that you can focus on, or you can get other people to focus their attention on and feed energy to. Now, what this essentially is, almost think of it kind of like a solar panel. Solar panels absorb light. This absorbs energy and transmutes that energy into what you want it to. So for example, if I'm creating a sigil that makes me richer or gives me more money, then I'm going to create a sigil and I'm going to have that in mind when I'm creating that sigil. Now, contrary to popular belief, you can design a sigil and then give it a purpose afterwards. It's a little bit more difficult to do that because you are purposing something, you know, repurposing something that's already been created. However, it is possible. Now, what I'd suggest is, I really do suggest, certainly if you're a beginner, that Sigil Magic's quite a good place to start. Now, if you know what you want, okay, then create a sigil to get that thing that you want. So if I want money, okay, I want to create a sigil that is designed to help bring me money, okay? And again, the most important thing is that it's unique, because, you know, if you've got more than one sigil that looks exactly the same, how are you going to tear those things apart? It's kind of like having 3 people with the same telephone number. You know, if someone phones them up, it's going to go through to all those 3 people at the same time. Okay, so remember, unique. Ideally speaking, you don't want it to look like anything specifically that you could ascribe a character. So you don't want a character. The reason for that is when people start to personify things, they'll create things such as tulpas. So that kind of energy can end up essentially coming to life. So when it comes to sigil creation and the way you want to create sigils, and I'm going to talk about that in the next video, then just remember, you're either going to know exactly what you want the sigil to do, or if you want to create a sigil and you're not entirely sure what its purpose is for, have the purpose to be linked to you. Essentially, you're wanting to create a doorway to you, okay? The reason for that is that if you've got that link and that doorway there, you can then take that doorway, that link, and do other things with. So you could change the purpose of what you want that to, you know, that to do. So if you've got a super specific thing in mind, then work with that. If you don't, then what you're essentially wanting to do is create an open doorway. Okay, now some people will say that it's not perhaps a very good idea to create an open doorway and stick it out there. We will be taking precautions with that, and I will be explaining that a little bit more, okay? So I'm not saying, you know, this isn't going to be something that's dangerous and is not going to be an open doorway for spirits and people to get you or anything like that. You know, I am putting a little bit of thought into this because I know that not everyone has a huge amount of experience when it comes to this. Just get in your mind right now, before you watch the next video, what you want your sigil to do. Do you want it to bring you love? Do you want it to bring you money? Do you want a new car? You know, and if you don't know what you want, then just think of it in terms of you're wanting to create an open doorway, okay? There we go. So on the next video, what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about various different ways of creating those sigils, because some people like to do things a little bit more open and free and stream of consciousness. Other people like to do things a little bit methodically. Now, when it comes to designing sigils, a lot of the time people will have their go-to methods. I have my go-to method for designing them, and I'm going to share that, but I also want to talk a little bit about other ways and other things that you can do.